Disney World has more than a dozen character dining experiences to choose from, but the big question is, which one is best for you and your family? In this video, we're comparing the 3 character dining locations closest to the Magic Kingdom: Chef Mickey's, Ohana, and 1900 Park Fare. They're all just a quick monorail ride from the park, but each offers a very different combination of characters, food, atmosphere, and overall experience. By the end of this video, I'll tell you which one has my favorite food, which offered the best character interactions, and which restaurant I'd be willing to spend money on again. So let's dive in and find out which one's right for you. Let's start with what many people consider the flagship character dining experience at Walt Disney World, Chef Mickey's, located inside Disney's Contemporary Resort. One of the things that immediately stands out about Chef Mickey's is its location. You'll have the monorail gliding overhead throughout your meal, creating an energetic atmosphere that's unlike anywhere else at Walt Disney World. Between the open design of the resort and the large eating areas and the constant activity around you, this is definitely not a quiet or intimate restaurant. But for many families, that's exactly the fun of it. Chef Mickey's serves both breakfast and dinner, and no matter which meal you choose, you get to meet 5 of Disney's most popular characters, making it one of the easiest ways to see several fan favorites in one meal. Tonight we're going to be having dinner at Chef Mickey's. I haven't been here for a long time, and I don't think I've ever been here for dinner, so we are going to try how dinner is here. I know it has a reputation for being a little loud and a little hectic, but also a lot of fun because you can see Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Pluto, Goofy, so I think it's a good mix of characters, so hopefully we'll have a lot of fun, and hopefully the food will be very, very good because I am hungry. The buffet itself is found in the middle of the various seating areas, and you can start on either end. Many of the dishes are duplicated on both sides to help with crowds, but there are also a handful of unique offerings depending on which side you visit. Here's a look at the typical dinner options.
Okay, I'm going to be keeping it real. I got New York strip loin, some sort of bread focaccia, some pasta salad, butternut squash, ravioli, some cornbread, and some mashed potatoes. I just had a bite of the cornbread. It didn't wow me, so I was excited for it. It's okay, but not did wow me. But we're going to try the butternut squash ravioli because that sounded decently good. Okay, the butternut squash ravioli was good. The pasta salad was decent. So they're redeeming themselves after the cornbread was not that exciting. I just went to the other side of the buffet and I feel like they had a little bit more options over there as far as like kind of more unique things. So they had some like wontons. They had mac and cheese for the kids. They also had these corn dog nuggets, which I know are good. So the mac and cheese is decent. It's not the best, it's not like a baked mac and cheese, but it is a good mac and cheese. I love the corn dog nuggets, and I know they're for kids or whatever, but they are delightful. The pizza is buffet-style pizza, nothing to report back about. So real talk. I've been here, as I said the timer, I've been here seated 30 minutes. I have yet to have a character come and visit me. And it's not just because I'm like an adult sitting here. It's our whole section hasn't had any characters for 30 minutes. So we've seen them walk by and dance once, but no characters. So maybe once they come, they will all hit at once. But 30 minutes of no characters when you're doing character dining does seem like kind of a little while because I'm done with 2 plates. And so I know you usually have to wait about 90 minutes to see everyone. Most of these places, they say up to 90 minutes, but we're 1/3 of the way there.
But the character drought didn't last forever. Once the first character came to visit, they all started to head over.
Alright, so it took 39 minutes and 41 seconds for the first character to come, but then once Pluto visited, then it was just 1minute 57 seconds until Goofy visited, and 3 minutes and 10 seconds until Donald, and then 1 minute 26 seconds until Mickey visited, and Minnie is almost here, and so it's going to be about 10 minutes till Minnie gets here. So once they start coming, they start coming. So in under an hour. I'm gonna see everyone.
Disney also recently added several new desserts themed after the Disney characters you'll meet during your meal, giving the dessert station a little bit more personality than before.
They also have soft serve ice cream, either vanilla or chocolate or twist. You know the policy. Soft serve ice cream makes everything better.
Although I visited for dinner, Chef Mickey's also serves a breakfast buffet featuring classic favorites like Mickey waffles, seasonal pancakes, chocolate hazelnut crepes, croissant beignets, biscuits and sausage gravy, made-to-order omelets, carved ham, fresh fruit, and plenty of kid-friendly options. At the time of filming, dinner cost $69 per adult and $44 per child, while breakfast cost $59 per adult and $38 per child before tax and gratuity. So here's my ratings for Chef Mickey. For food, I'm giving it 2.5 out of 5. This score may surprise some people, but while everything tasted good, nothing really wowed me. There wasn't a single dish that made me think, I need to come back just for this. Maybe the newer desserts or even the breakfast menu would change my opinion, but based on my dinner experience, the food was simply good, not great. Character interactions. I'm giving that a 4.5 out of 5. This is where Chef Mickey's really shines. Getting to meet 5 iconic Disney characters in one meal is fantastic, and every interaction I had was very fun and memorable. Atmosphere, I'm giving this a 3 out of 5. The contemporary resort is an incredible setting, but because of the open design and the monorail passing overhead, Chef Mickey's is naturally loud and energetic. If you're looking for a quieter meal, this probably isn't it. On the other hand, families with younger children may actually appreciate the lively atmosphere because no one has to worry about making too much noise. Value, I'm giving this 3 out of 5. A big part of what you're paying for is the character experience, and that part absolutely delivers. But the $69 for dinner, I wish the food had impressed me a little bit more. If there had been 1 or 2 standout dishes, the score definitely would have been higher. Now let's hop aboard the monorail and head over to Disney's Polynesian Village Resort for Best Friends Breakfast featuring Lilo and Stitch at Ohana. The Polynesian Village Resort is one of my favorite Disney resorts because it does such a great job transporting you to the South Pacific with its tropical landscaping, island-inspired architecture, and relaxed atmosphere. The same feeling continues inside Ohana, making it one of the most immersive character dining experiences near the Magic Kingdom. Unlike Chef Mickey's, the Disney characters only appear during breakfast. Instead of a buffet, Ohana serves breakfast family style, meaning the food is brought directly to your table. It's still all you care to enjoy, so if you want more of anything, just ask. At the time of making this video, breakfast cost $53 per adult and $33 per child, before tax and gratuity. Alright, I am about to dive in, and this is already looking great. They have this pineapple coconut bread that looks delicious. Yeah, it's served family style, so we got all the fruit. The classic pog juice, which she said here they're calling Lilo and Stitch juice. And yeah, they'll serve it family style, so I'm excited to dive in. I'm gonna try some of the pineapple coconut bread. I like it. Here they also have the Stitch waffles and classic Mickey waffles, but look how cute those Stitch waffles are. And it looks like we got some biscuits here, sausage, it looks like some ham, some potatoes.
Real quick while I have
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So some potatoes there and some scrambled eggs. So yeah, lots of great options. Every 30 minutes or so, the characters do a little dance around the restaurant, and throughout the meal, the characters come directly to visit you at your table. So it is all you care to eat, but I'm totally full with what they brought me. Of course, it's family style, so there's not probably as many options as other buffets, but everything that I've had, I've really enjoyed. So I have really enjoyed this one. The characters all came around and it was pretty quick. It seems like they seat different areas of the restaurant and just have the characters all visit that section, and then this group kind of finishes up and they seat it again. So Ohana for breakfast right now is getting a thumbs up from me, so I'm going to eat a little bit more and then I'll let you know my final thoughts. Overall, I really enjoyed breakfast at Ohana. The food was consistently good, the atmosphere felt a little bit more relaxed than Chef Mickey's, so here's my scores. For food, I'm giving it 3.5 out of 5. Everything I tried tasted really good. While the menu is mostly classic breakfast favorites, everything was fresh, hot, and well prepared. I especially enjoyed the pineapple bread, the Stitch-shaped waffles, and the pineapple glaze served with the ham. Those little tropical touches help make the breakfast feel unique. And since they bring the food to you, you'll never have to worry about missing a character while you're waiting in line for your food like might happen at other locations. For character interactions, I'm giving this 4 out of 5. I had a great time with all of the characters. I really liked that I was able to meet everyone in under an hour. Lilo and Stitch are also harder to find elsewhere in the parks, making this experience extra special. Atmosphere, I'm giving this 4 out of 5. Even though Ohana is a fairly large restaurant, it feels much more intimate than Chef Mickey's. The tropical setting is beautiful, and depending on where you're seated, you may also get a fantastic view overlooking Seven Seas Lagoon toward Magic Kingdom. One quick photography tip: if you're sitting next to the large windows, have the person taking your photo with the characters stand with their back to the window. Otherwise, the strong backlighting can make your picture turn out darker than you'd expect. For value, I'm giving this 4 out of 5. At a slightly lower price than several other character dining options, I think Ohana offers solid value. Its location makes it easy to enjoy breakfast before heading to Magic Kingdom, or even take a short monorail ride over after spending a little time in the parks. Between the food, characters, and atmosphere, this one delivers a well-rounded experience. Now let's hop on the monorail one more time and head over to Disney's Grand Floridian Resort, which is home to 1900 Park Fare. They serve up breakfast and dinner, but I went for dinner, so I'll be sharing the menu for that. But if you are thinking about breakfast, the character lineup and overall atmosphere stay the same for both meals, with breakfast being a little lighter on the wallet. So what's the theme of the restaurant like? 1900 Park Fare manages to mix Victorian-inspired style with paintings of some of your favorite Disney dreamers. It's like Enchanted Charm meets Disney nostalgia, complete with the Big Bertha organ above. With all of that said, this restaurant isn't huge, so you don't feel like you get lost in an oversized room. It's fancy, it's fun, and it sets the stage for a meal you won't forget. Now that we're seated, it's time to go and check out the dinner buffet.
Alright, we got horseradish, house-made steak sauce, Tiana sauce, red wine au jus, mashed potatoes, glazed carrots, green beans, baked salmon, seasonal pasta, macaroni and cheese, roasted garlic sausage, curry roasted chicken, tostones, zucchini with impossible sausage, not sure what that one is, it looks like a cauliflower, jasmine rice, Tiana's gumbo, chicken noodle soup. In the kids section, we got the good stuff there. Carving station with pork loin and prime rib. Parmesan noodles, turkey meatballs, marinara sauce, buttered kernel corn, lemons, cocktail sauce, peel and eat shrimp, and mixed greens and romaine lettuce. Everything you would need to make a salad and dressings. Potato salad, broccoli slaw, couscous salad, Mediterranean kale salad, assorted cheeses and focaccia bread, roasted tomato spread, cornbread, honey butter, French rolls, whipped butter.
Now that we're all dished up, and before we talk about the characters, here are some of my thoughts on the food.
Now, I just grabbed my food. I normally don't get the peel and eat shrimp because that seems to be effort, but I'm gonna do it to try it because how often do you actually get to do that? I got the salmon, potato salad, seasonal pasta, mac and cheese, the focaccia, the cornbread, the mashed potatoes, and the children's pizza. Okay, we're trying the peel and eat shrimp.
I am getting better.
Very good. I just tried the salmon. It's very good. Very good. I would definitely get more of that. Alright, plate number 2. I got the prime rib from the carving station. I got carrots. I got some chicken curry. And I got Tiana's gumbo. So first let's try Tiana's gumbo. As Miss Tiana would say, that's the bee's knees.
Now let's talk about the characters. Disney says the typical characters for 1900 Park Fare may include Aladdin, Cinderella, Mirabelle, and Princess Tiana. But of course, character appearances and entertainment are subject to change, and on this night, Aladdin isn't coming around, but Snow White is here in his place. It's my understanding that often Aladdin is the hardest one to find, so don't be surprised if maybe you have one character switched out for another.
So they gave us this card with all the characters' signatures on it, and on the back you're supposed to write your wishes, and then they'll have a wishing ceremony later.
I'd say we're ready to begin. Just follow my lead, and let your conscience be your guide. Now, everybody, take hold of your wishing star. Look at what you wrote, and remember it. Oh, don't worry if you haven't written anything yet. All you gotta do is think of a wish. It can be as simple as a feeling. Like this out now. Repeat after me.
Grand Floridian Financier, lemon blueberry cheesecake, fudge brownie, chocolate chip cookie, warm chocolate cake, fruits, Grand Floridian strawberry soup, cookies, vanilla cupcake, toasted coconut cake, gummy candies, Rice Krispie treats. Alright, I got my desserts. First I'm going to try the famous Grand Floridian strawberry soup. It tastes like a strawberry milkshake, just put in a bowl. So, can't go wrong with that. These all look very cute and they're very good to look at, but I think they taste even better than they look, so that's a good thing.
Here's my ratings for 1900 Park Fair. For food, 4.5 out of 5. The food here was excellent and easily some of the highest quality buffet food I've had at Walt Disney World. Everything tasted fresh, there was a great variety of options, and several dishes felt like they belonged in a signature restaurant rather than a typical buffet. If you're choosing a character meal based primarily on food, 1900 Park Fair is going to be hard to beat. Character interactions, I'm giving this a 5 out of 5. As good as the food was, the character interactions at 1900 Park Fair were even better. Not only do you get to meet 4 face characters, but the interactions never felt rushed, each character spends time talking with guests, and the restaurant's wish ceremony adds an extra layer of storytelling that makes the experience feel more personal and memorable. If character interactions are your top priority, and if you're okay that Mickey's not going to be one of the visitors during your meal, 1900 Park Fair is an excellent choice. Atmosphere, I'm giving this 4 out of 5. The Grand Floridian's elegant Victorian style gives 1900 Park Fair a very different feel from the other character meals near Magic Kingdom. The dining room is smaller and more intimate than Chef Mickey's, making it easier to relax and enjoy your meal. The buffet never felt overcrowded, yet the room still felt fun and welcoming for families. It strikes a nice balance between upscale and Disney magic. Value, I'm giving this a 4.5 out of 5. This is one of the most expensive character dining experiences at Walt Disney World, so it's definitely a splurge. But when you combine the quality of the food and some of the best character interactions you'll find anywhere on property, I think the price is much easier to justify. If you're only planning to book one premium character meal near Magic Kingdom, this would be a very strong choice. So after visiting all 3 restaurants near Magic Kingdom, here's how they rank for me. In third place is Chef Mickey's. I really enjoyed getting to meet 5 classic Disney characters, and it's hard to beat the convenience of its location inside the contemporary resort. While I had a great experience, I just wish the food stood out a little bit more for the price. Taking second place is Ohana. I love the relaxed atmosphere, the family-style breakfast, and getting to meet Lilo and Stitch, 2 characters that can be a little harder to find around Walt Disney World. If you're looking for a fun character breakfast before heading to Magic Kingdom, this is a fantastic choice. And my overall winner is 1900 Park Fair. For me, it offered the best combination of food, character interactions, and overall experience. The buffet was easily my favorite of the 3, the characters spent plenty of time interacting with guests, and the wish ceremony helped the entire meal feel a little bit more special. Now that doesn't necessarily mean 1900 Park Fair is the right choice for everyone. If your family loves Mickey and his pals, Chef Mickey's might still be a perfect fit for you. If Stitch is your favorite Disney character, Ohana is hard to beat. But if you're looking for the most complete character dining experience near Magic Kingdom, between the food options and character interactions, 1900 Park Fair would be my pick. I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 3 restaurants is your favorite? Or if you haven't been yet, which would you choose after watching this video? Let me know down in the comments. And this is just the beginning. Next I'll be comparing character dining locations around Epcot, and after that I'll be ranking even more character dining experiences around Walt Disney World, to help you decide which ones are truly worth your time and money. If you found this comparison helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you'd give it a like, and if you haven't subscribed yet, consider joining the channel. My goal is always to make your next Disney adventure a little bit more magical with tips and tricks, food reviews, and the latest Disney news. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see y'all again real soon.